Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? And today I want to talk about the US CPI data is in right now, and it is actually lower than expected. So right now the Dow Jones surges over 600 points on cool CPI inflation data. Wow, a lot of stocks is going up. Also, you got to check out what the Fed prepares to do, rise interest rates. They probably going to go with a 0.5% interest rate instead of the 0.75, so it's going to be about a 50 basis points. And what else is going on? So like I said, the consumer inflation expected to have continued cooling in November like it did. So right now a lot of stocks is going up. And let's see what else we got going on. Inflation eased to 7.1 in November. U.S. consumer prices rose last month at the slowest in 12 months pace since December 2021, closing out a year in which inflation hit the highest level in 4 decades. And I think the highest level was like, I think 8.7 or something like that back in, I think which month was March. But basically over the year of 2022, the inflation has been rising. And right now, over the last 2 months, we do have it lowering down to right now 7.1 for November. So the New York Times reported that the slowdown in inflation was driven by food, energy, and used vehicles. Core inflation, which strips out volatile food and energy prices, slowed to 6% over the year, an indication that price increases are slowing broadly. So the New York Times also reported that a rise in food prices, which has been propelling rapid inflation for more than a year, appears to be cooling off. So that's a good thing. Although food overall is at 10.6, more expensive than it has ever been in these times over the last year. Times like these is slowing down, and meat drop prices, other things is dropping down over the past month, so that helps out. Energy prices also continue to fall in November, partially as a result of the COVID-related lockdown in China, which decreased demands. Critically for Federal Reserve, core inflation, which strips out volatile food and energy, is decelerating to 6% over the last year. So that's going to be a good thing for the Fed announcements tomorrow. Used cars is down. Like last month, it was going down because people's cutting back from doing their average shopping with used cars. The cost of rent continues to drive overall inflation through the Labor Department measures is backward, lowering more insufficient indicators have shown new leases dropping sharply in some markets. So I guess people are cutting back on renting and purchasing homes, and that has a big indication on the CPI data. Owner's equivalent rent, which tracks elements such as insurance, mortgage, and interest rate, overall home prices has also decelerated, only slightly though in the last months. And New York Times also talk about the flight fares continue to fall going into holidays as airlines manage to add planes and fuel prices eased. So that's something interesting to look is, usually around the holiday season, people is gonna want to travel more and things like that. So let's get more into the data and look at what else the data has to say. So right now, let's look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics government.gov website, BLS.gov website, the economic news release for the Consumer Price Index, which came out today. This is for the month of November, which came out today, December 13th for the month of November. And we can see CPI Price Index, Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, CPIU, rose 0.1% in November on a seasonal adjusted basis after increasing 0.4% in October. So that can see that we're down by 0.3%. The U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics reported today over the last 12 months that all item index increased 7.1% before seasonal adjustment. And remember, last month was about 7.7, so that's a good thing, down about 0.6%. The index for shelter was by far the largest contributor to the monthly all items increase, more than offsetting decrease in energy indexes. The food index increased 0.5% over the months, with the food at-home index also rising 0.5%. The energy index increased 1.6% over the month, as the gasoline index, the natural gas index, and the electrical index all declined. So that's a good thing, especially for the winter summer. So we got gasoline going down, natural gas going down, and electricity has all declined for the month of November. The index for all items less food energy rose 0.2% in November after rising 0.3% in October. The index for shelter, communication, recreation, motor vehicle insurance, education, and apparel were among those that increased over the months. Indexes which decline in November include the used car and trucks. Some people are buying less used cars, medical care, airline fares, and indexes. So people aren't traveling as much as they usually do, especially during the holiday season. The all item index increased 7.1% for the 12-month end in November. This was the smallest 12-month increase since the period ending December 2021. The all-item less food and energy index rose 6% over the last 12 months. The energy index increased 13.1% over the last 12 months. So even though energy is down over the last month, it's still up over the last 12 months, ending in November. And the food index increased 10.6% over the last year. So like he said, energy and food, if it's included in this data, will be up. But since most of the data excludes food and energy, then that's the reason why we're at 7.1. All these increases were smaller than the period ended in October. So like we were saying, it's all down from the period of October. And if you go to BLS.gov, you can check out the CPI data and changes in the CPI, all urban consumer city averages. You can check it out for May, June, July, August, September, and it's all adjusted for November. You have stuff like food items, energy, utilities, all items less food and energy. So we got new vehicles, used vehicles, trucks, apparel. Apparel actually was up this month. Not sure because of the holiday season shopping or the change of weather. Medical and commodities services, I think, was mediocre. Yep, services mediocre. Shelter, this is the big one right here. Shelter was up about 7.1% compared to October was 0.8 and November was 0.6. So we can also check out that data. Transportation services, medical care services. So all of this data is included in the CPI data. And this is gonna have a big effect on the FOMC meeting, which will be tomorrow at around 2 o'clock. Which will also affect the market. So once again, it's Ainsley D. Hope you got some value out of this. Go ahead and check out the CPI data. Helps with seeing where the market is going, how the economy is doing. And you can also get some more information from the tables and also more data related to food, energy, and all of the above for the CPI data. Once again, it's Ainsley D. Hope you got some value out of this. I'll talk to you next time. Peace.